It's me. So, as you know, Propellerhead user, Reason ships with a ton. It ships with a ton of instruments, a ton of sounds, and a ton of effects patches. Now, these are in the factory sound bank. They're patches that have been, or they're combinators actually, that have been made. Well, they're not all combinators, but anyway, they're patches that have been made by people at Propellerheads, and they're either for mixing purposes or for sound effect purposes, but there's a ton of them if you look in the factory sound bank. And I've gone through and picked out my top 5 favorite useful effect patches that come standard with Reason. So let's check them out. Okay, here we are. About to get our Reason on. Okay. Okay, so I've got them all laid out, each effect here. Just so you know where I got them, if you go to the factory sounds just like this, and then you can type in, what I end up doing is, as I'm making something, let's say I'm making a lead line and I want it to be wider, I literally lately have just been typing in what it is that I want and seeing if there's a pre-made effect patch for it. So on this one I typed in, so this first one here is called the wide Omatic. I literally just typed in wide. I wanted to figure out how to make something wide, not using third party, and just seeing how Reason wanted me to do it. Okay, so let me show you what this sounds like before. So this is fun little bass line thing. And this is the wide Omatic. Once again, here I'll just show you. Wide. Boom. It's going to show up near the bottom. All of the effect patches show up near the bottom. Boom. Wide Omatic right there. Okay. I'm going to press F3 to get rid of that browser. Okay. So before and after. That's hot. I really like the way it filled in the empty space here. So if you're listening, it sounds kind of like it's a delay chorus-y thing. It also says chorus delay reverb right here. So, I think I deduced correctly. Let's do some knob fiddling, see what else it does. Add some more of that delay in. Nice sound and delay. What's up with this reverb? Interesting. Let's add a patch to it. I never noticed this before actually, but the reverb is set to initialize patch. I wonder what it would sound like if we pulled out like a convolution impulse response. This is off the cuff, y'all. Let's just put a really nice sounding reverb. Oh, if you haven't gone to the Propellerhead website and downloaded the impulse responses for the RV7000 MK2, that's what we're up to now since Reason 10, I think. Maybe since 9.5, but I think since Reason 10. You got to go download the impulse responses. We'll get into convolution reverb at some point, but it sounds amazing. So let's do this, and we'll grab one of these. Sure, this guy. Let's go dark. Anyway, I could fiddle with that all day, but yeah, just so you know, the reverb comes initialized, or maybe, well, yeah, I just dragged it in. So mess around with that reverb if you use this thing. But yeah, you're adding some width for sure. It looks like you can even Yeah, so this looks like it turns on the stereo imager, probably. Let me see. Yeah, I hear you. Stereo imager is bypassed. Stereo imager is on, yeah. Okay, so that adds this, and then you can add even more with, or take this away. That's interesting. You see how this is helpful. Moving on. Next up we have, hope I wasn't talking over the mic the whole time. Okay. Next up we have this guy. What did I put on this guy? What are you? Oh no, you're just a copy of the other one. Don't know why that's there. Okay. Let's see what this sounds like, this sample.
Wasted high.
Oh, if I used this in another video, you might recognize this little lady.
Wasted high. Wasted high.
So this one is a Haas effect, which is pretty straightforward to make on your own, but it's nice that it's just built in right here. Again, factory sound bake, type in Haas. If you don't know what the Haas effect is, it's like when you make the left and right channels out of sync, you delay one just a touch, and that has an effect on your brain that makes it sound like it's more stereo. A mono signal, two mono signals, two of the same mono signals, one slightly out of phase, sounds wide to the human ear or to the human brain. Anyway, but this is one that's pre-made, and if you type in Haas here, you see Haas type 1 and Haas type 2 pops up. I think I like the Haas type 1 the best, but here, I'll show you what this effect sounds like. You better be on headphones or monitors or something, you know what I'm saying?
Wasted high. Wasted high.
That's before, and here's after.
Wasted high. Wasted high.
Sounds wide. A word of caution, though. Haas, because of the trickery, when it collapses back to mono, it can sound strange. This is another super useful one. I just put it here so I could show you what happens to Haas when you make it mono. But this is called what is this called? Stereo Flippin mono. It's also in the factory sound. So stereo mono. That should do it. Boom, stereo Flippin mono. So I routed this actually. I inserted it to the master section. See here? Bam, 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 bam. And then I mapped this to the letter N on my keyboard. But listen, if you listen to just to show you what happens to Haas when it collapses to mono, and to show you that you need to use caution with it.
Wasted high.
That's it. Still wide, and I'm pressing N now to make everything on the master bus mono.
Wasted high. Wasted high.
So as they collapse, they no longer sound like two separate sounds. They sound like two sound like two sounds overlapping each other. So don't use Haas on your main vocal. That's really what I'm getting at here. It works really well though, because you can get stuff to be really wide. But you just have to be careful what instruments you're using it on. So just so you can hear it again.
Wasted high.
That's with the Haas effect. Oops. So without the Haas effect.
Wasted high.
With the Haas effect.
Wasted high.
And then with the Haas effect, collapse it back down to mono.
Wasted high.
Doesn't sound terrible, but it definitely sounds different, and it sounds metallic-y, robotic-y, something like that. So yeah, just use caution, but it's still a useful thing. Moving on. Mute that. I'm just clicking on the region and pressing M. And then while the region's highlighted, if I just press the letter P, it'll automatically make these loop braces and it'll play. All that with one push, the letter P, when your region is selected. Okay, what is this? I chose a long sound on this one because this, I think, would be useful. This patch is useful for build-ups, stuff like that. It's a frequency shifter. It sounds interesting. I wouldn't put it in something that's up front, but the interestingness could be used on something that's going to sit back here somewhere. So with it on, and you automate this guy. It could be cool in a breakdown. It could be cool before a breakdown. That was shifting down, by the way. I forgot this toggle is here. So I was shifting it down. You can shift it up, which is probably the more useful way to use it. It shifts up, but it gets metallic-y too. I could see myself using this in conjunction with a high pass, in conjunction with a delay, in conjunction with a reverb to kind of make a spacey tube sound, like it's in a PVC pipe drifting away soundscape thingy. So I like this one. It sounds weird, and I like weird. So frequency shifter, I got it the same way. Whoops. Got it the same way, you know. Factory sounds, type in frequency shifter. Boom. You get it. Moving on. Next up. Oh, there's a deesser. Super handy. And it's really simple to use. You don't need to get super fancy with a deesser, really. I mean, you can, but you don't really need to. I think I picked... Press mute on that. F3 to close that browser. And then P to play these. I wanted to show you this because I'm not using a vocal here. I'm not de-essing a vocal. But I wanted to show you another use for a de-esser, as well as show you this de-esser. It's really simple to use. It's just got a threshold ratio. Yeah, and in the frequency, I usually just use these two knobs. Maybe this knob sometimes. Excuse me. Little burpee poo. Okay, so... So this loop is cool, but it has this every note has this extreme pitch bend that's making it like a high frequency click. Tweet, 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 tweet. And I don't like it, let's say. So because I know it's a high frequency thing, it's in the same range as sibilance, you know, the stuff that you'd be getting rid of, that you'd be de-essing. So I can use it here to smooth out those, I don't know what to call them, those plosives? No. That's not even close to right. Okay, here we go. You can solo the sidechain so that you can hear which frequency you're affecting. It's definitely this guy up here. That's that mother right there. It's a little extreme. With. Without. So it's like compressing it, but you're only compressing the one frequency you don't like. Keep that one in mind for certain things. And also, of course, there's the vocal application as well. De-esser, right there, ready to go. Easy to use. Boom. Handy. Also put this on your vocals. Put a de-esser. Try putting a de-esser. So your vocal is going to go to a reverb. Put the de-esser in between your vocal and the reverb to make it so that your reverb doesn't sizzle. It's nice and tame. It's another little tricky poo for you. Okay. Next up. Oh, we're flying. Next up we have, click the region. I'm going to press M to mute it. Click the next region, press M to unmute it. And then I'm going to press P in order to make the loop braces around this region and play it simultaneously. Here we go. This one is called the Dual Band Juno Chorus. There's a bunch of choruses pre-made, and I believe this is modeled after the Juno synth. I'm guessing that. But they all have names that are reminiscent of certain gear, so that's cool. They kind of try to model some stuff. It sounds pretty cool. Here we go. And with. This crossover frequency is handy because, like, this has a lot of low content. This guitar has a lot of low frequency content, so you don't want to wiggle down there in the low areas. You want to try to keep those mono. So, I mean, in this case, sure. In this case, in most cases, I would filter up to chorus only the mid-high to high frequencies. I'd also probably just EQ out the lows in this and stick it into a song, but you get my point. So that's handy. The rate, you can get crazy. And then the delay parameter. Either way, I just like the way it sounds. It sounds good. Anyway, so that's it. Those are 5 super useful patches that I reach for all the time. That wide Omatic is a standout for me. It's easy to slap on, easy to dial in. All of these are easy to slap on, easy to dial in. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. It's super easy. It's just right there. You just hit the damn thing. Also, consider subscribing if I've helped you out along the way. I hope I have. I really enjoy the comment section. You guys are super positive, and it just brightens my day. So thank you so much for leaving those comments. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for thumbs upping. Thank you for watching. And thank you for making music.